I think I found something on ChatGPT that no one realizes. So it's something that I prompted, I tested, I got really good results that I want to show you because so many of you would want to do this. And this will be super helpful in your personal goals, personal projects, work, when it comes to your personal owned business if you have one, or the corporate or the business that you work for. And before we jump in, hopefully you enjoy the video. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button because big part of today's content is around my bad numbers. So please hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it with others if you enjoy it. And with this and without any further ado, let's get started.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. The mic.
Okay, so the thing that I figured out ChatGPT can do, and here I'm particularly talking about GPT-5, is a Monte Carlo simulation. So a Monte Carlo simulation is simulation used widely in business and many other areas where you kind of run a certain simulation engine that looks at certain input criteria that you provide it with and tries to simulate so many different possible outputs based on the basis or the mechanics of that simulation, and it will try to give you kind of a percentage mark or a percentile mark for possible outcome. So let's say you are running a project in your company and you want to know what's the 100% cost that you can make sure you're gonna incur in that project, or at 90% or at 80%. That way you can look at different angles of managing the project cost, from the savings that you can potentially have at what level, and also the extra cost or the overspend that you might struggle with and at what probability. Now, this is not perfect, but it is definitely a mathematical modeling way that can help you forecast what to expect. So when you report on numbers, when you create budgets, this method becomes real handy. So just for you to understand what we're going to do today and the method itself. So this is the Monte Carlo simulation. So the Monte Carlo simulation is a type of computational algorithm that uses repeated random sampling to obtain the likelihood of a range of results of occurring. It is also known as the Monte Carlo method or a multiple probability simulation. Monte Carlo simulation is a mathematical technique that is used to estimate the possible outcomes of an uncertain event. And just to give you a visual example of it, so here you can see one example of a Monte Carlo analysis. Again, this is represented now in chart and not a number. So here, this axis is the likelihood. So this is the probability that we're calculated through the model, and then this is the whatever criteria you're measuring. So here this is cost, and you can see here there's a certain percentile for base cost, and then you have the project contingency and then the project reserve, and these are typical PMI, which is the Project Management Institute terminologies usually used by people who do project management professional, or what you see here of PMP. So this is basically someone trying to calculate the probability of what kind of contingency they need for their project and what kind of reserve they have to keep, and then what kind of risk to business. So this is the final cost here that you get at the end of the spectrum. And if you look at this, fundamentally, this is the range of outcome. So there's a high probability project cost that a good project manager will expect. Usually it's calculating all the elements with some contingency around the original costing of that project, because things happen always. So that's the highest probability one. Now, the more that cost increases, probability goes down, but it's still there. And it is important for a project manager or a business to really understand the odds of that cost. Because if you have 100 projects like this, you need to have your kind of second level contingency to make sure that you're able to fund these projects if any of them or multiple ones of them actually break this barrier or the average contingency level that you expect, and they go closer to less probable but high impact to the business kind of cost creep. It is a very helpful modeling tool that I honestly didn't think that ChatGPT is capable of running for you. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna run one for my YouTube channel. So we're gonna all look at my really bad numbers on my channel, and we're gonna try to get ChatGPT to use the Monte Carlo method to simulate the odds of me getting to 10,000 subscribers by March 2026. Let's go to ChatGPT, see the prompt, and then see what it gives us. And it is super impressive that ChatGPT, as a tool that everyone has access to, can run significantly accurate Monte Carlo analysis for us. Okay, so this is the prompt. You are my Monte Carlo engine. Run 1,000 simulations of the next 6 months of channel growth. So it's gonna run 1,000 different possible outcomes for the next 6 months for me, okay? And I'm gonna give it some assumptions to run with. So the first one is starting subs. So this is my current subscription number, 3,690. The weekly upload, so again, I'm using here triangular, so at worst is 0 videos. What it should expect for most cases is 1 video, and it could go up to 2 videos a week. Okay, and I'm putting some explanation here so ChatGPT will understand what I'm trying to model, or the situation I'm trying to model. Then we look at the click-through rate if you're not into social media. So this is how many people who go over my videos as you're looking through YouTube, see my thumbnail and my title and actually decide to click on them. So again, I'm giving it the mean, standard deviation, the floor. All of those, by the way, are coming from my actual data. So it's not just plug in numbers just to do the video. Impressions per 1,000. So how many thousands of impressions my videos get. Again, the mean, the standard deviation, more actual data as an example for reference. View to sub rate. So how many people actually view my videos and how many subscriptions I get. So the mean is less than 1%. This is bad, super bad. That means that many of you keep watching my videos, which is a great thing I'm grateful for, but a big number just watch them without subscribing. So if you're one of them, consider subscribing now. I would appreciate that. Again, the other mathematical numbers around the view to sub rate, some mechanics, basically some equations on how to do certain calculations. So for each week, draw uploads, CTR, impression, compute views equal uploads multiplied by impressions multiplied by 1,000 multiplied by click-through rate over 100. Subscribers gained is views multiplied by subscription rate, again against the views. Update total subs week by week. So this is as it's running the simulation. Run for 26 weeks until March 31st of 2026. So this is roughly 6 months from now. So what do I want as an output? Probability of reaching 10,000 subs by March 31st, 2026. A 10-row table, assumptions change versus the impact on success probability using simple one at a time sensitivity. 1-page action plan, the highest leverage lever I should pull next week. So what's the one thing that if I crank up, it will change everything positively in my channel from all of these variables? Return a compact summary first, then the table, then the action plan. So I'm very clear with what I want. I want to read for you, obviously, the summary. Other things, I'll look at it on my own. Now, you can run this with the thinking GPT-5 model. You can put it on heavy thinking. I recommend that. I have access to the Pro model. I'm going to run it on Pro, and I will show you the results. Now, also, this is beneficial because even if you don't have the Pro, you can actually run a similar thing for your channel on heavy thinking and see if actually Pro does it differently or if there's any improvement there from what you got. I don't think it will be a big difference. I think you're probably going to get a similar quality thing. But the biggest thing here is ChatGPT will do these simulations for you, for your business, for whatever endeavor you're in. For me now, I'm doing it for my YouTube. I probably will start doing it for work in the future because this is super important information to really look at of what's the percentage of things working out in the right direction or in the wrong direction. for specific criteria in the job, like cost, schedule, like time, basically, and other aspects. So with this, let me run it. And once I have the response, we'll take a look at it together. I'll hit go here and I will let ChatGPT work on this while I wait. And I'll just skip it for you so you just see the outcome by the end of this run. You can, by the way, do these simulations on Excel. Again, not everyone is at technical level to go to Excel and create a simulation for Monte Carlo, but everyone can prompt it in ChatGPT. That's why ChatGPT and GPT-5 will make this way more accessible to so many people, and I am sure it will have a business impact to these people, a positive business impact to really see the scenarios that they can get themselves into in a certain business or a certain project or a certain endeavor that they take on. Okay, so I got the response now. Here is your 6 months Monte Carlo forecast run with 1000 simulations and exactly the mechanics you specified. Okay, so it did the actual 1000 simulations and this is the result. Again, this is just amazing by itself, and I think by the bad results, I think it actually did run this. So the probability of hitting 10,000 subs by March 21st, 2026 is 0%. That's really painful. So basically, the Monte Carlo simulation by ChatGPT is telling me there's no way in hell you're gonna reach that by that time, but you never know. So that's the human part here. So the human part is always going against the odds. Never ever let a machine tell you otherwise. So that's one thing. But from a numbers perspective, now I am nearly sure that it actually ran the simulation for me. So the forecasted subs on March 31st, 2026. So the median is around 3,842, which is 200 or 142 more than now. At 10 percentile, it's 3,802. And then the 90 percentile, it's close to 3,900. Now it gave me a plausibility check. With your inputs, a typical video yields about 30,000 median impressions, 2.6% click-through rate, and a 0.58% view to sub conversion. That is roughly 1,000 views and 6 subs per video. At 1 upload per week, that is about 6 new subs per week. Reaching 10,000 by March 31st requires about 242 per week. That implies an overall 41 times uplift across the product of 4 levers: upload, impression. So I have to improve everything 41 times for me to get to that 10,000 subscribers. Now we all know in YouTube, if you do things right, one video can change everything. But from a numbers perspective, from a modeling perspective, this is the bad news that it is delivering. So the model therefore projects essentially 0 probability under 1 at a time tweaks and modest adjustments. Note on horizon, you asked for 26 weeks and labeled the end date as March 31st. 26 weeks is closer to early April. I used 26 weeks as required. So actually it found a mistake in my prompt and it ignored that mistake and it did the right thing. And the fact that it can do a Monte Carlo simulation is a big deal. So if you watch this, I recommend, and I'm sure maybe some ideas are in your head now, oh, I can use this Monte Carlo simulation for 1, 2, 3, 4 cases, either in work or something you're trying to work on. And maybe you're already feeling sorry for me for my really bad performance on YouTube. And if you're feeling sorry, but at the same time happy that you watched this and you learned something new, click that subscribe button, like the video, share it with others. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And with this, have a great day and goodbye.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.